But I guess then, because we lived near each other. Our parents are mutuals. You know, like they're mutuals with each other.
Yeah.
How did you get into like writing and shit like that? I mean, you know.
I think, yeah, like it always goes back to music.
Right.
Funny that it was like, you know, what my kuyas were listening to, my cousins as well. They were into Run DMC, that sort of thing, Tupac. But I guess back then they were more into like R&B, Backstreet Boys. Boys, not Backstreet Boys. Boys to Men.
Boys to Men, yeah.
Like the whole R&B phase, like that was the shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then my older cousin was into like really cool, like that 80s, like who are they? Belle DeVoe?
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. So it sort of like just stemmed from there. So I was always exposed to that growing up. But then, funny that, it was like, oh, did you hear about DJ Dexter? Like, he's doing this, he's doing that.
Yo.
He's doing this.
Yo.
And then, like, as a kid, like, I would just, like, sit there and my cousins would chat shit about him. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this cat? And then it was like, yeah, he's playing at this party, doing this, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, DJ Dexter. Like, Dex, man. Like, who is he? And then, so I always had, like, this, I guess, this, I was intrigued about this cat. I was like, oh, you know, he's going DMC and his fellow. I'm like, oh, shit. And then that, I guess, sort of like sparked my interest in that, or in like in the whole hip hop sort of realm.
Right.
But it was turntabling. Yep. And like, I've never seen that before. There wasn't, you know, tutorials or anything. It was just what you'd see on pretty much Rage.
Yeah.
Or like someone in a film clip, not even like a live concert or anything.
Yeah.
And then so that sort of like just dropped off, and then you came around.
Yo.
Yeah.
Where?
No, it was just like, you know, because our parents knew each other, sort of thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, Anthony's like, you know, all this, that sort of thing. Like, he wants to be a dancer. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the heck? Like, you can do that? And then so that was, of course, like the big chismis going around. It's like, you know, Anthony's like out of school, like he's like, you know, the best school in the world, sort of thing, like, you know. And you know, being, you know, sort of like the first generation Filipino sort of thing here, it's like, you know, high expectations, being a queer, that sort of thing.
Right.
But and then so I was like, you know, what? Anthony's like breakdancing? I'm like, oh fuck, that's mad. But yeah. The only sort of like breakdancing stuff I saw was like, Run DMC, like that. Fuck. I remember that. I used to love that.
That shit was hype, right?
Yeah, it was like, I would want to see that like over, like every single weekend. Like I'd look out for that. And then once it's like gone, you just like turn it off. Like, fuck that. But yeah, how I got into writing, I guess I was always, you could say, creative. Like I was always sketching. I used to draw like Mortal Kombat, Ninja stuff, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. I just copy. I wasn't really great, but it was something that I was always interested in. And then I guess my first interaction, or what I saw, was caught the train one time with the fam. It was like a day trip to the city. Yeah. And then my brother Tom, he was like, oh yeah, I wrote this tag. And like he dropped this tag sort of thing. It's like acid. And he had like a skull or some shit like that. And then we caught the train into the city. And then at that time, I forget what it was, but it was just this massive building. And it just said like, Stand and Bones, Stand and Bones, Stand and Bones, ranks, Stand and Bones. And it was like 70K. And I was like, and like he literally like put my head aside to the window. It was like, hey, look. And I was like, whoa, like this is sick. So I was probably about like grade 6 or grade 5.
Wow, that's like 11, 12 years old.
Yeah. And then so...
Crazy.
Yeah, I think I was just very wowed about it. I was like, fuck, that's mad. Like, not knowing what it was or whatever. But yeah, come year 8, again, I was just drawing and stuff. And it was that time when Fat Pizza was becoming a thing. So stooge was like a big word. It's like, oh, you stooge, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, me...
You gotta bring that back, man.
Yeah.
Fucking mad gooses and mad stooges around these days, man. What a stooge.
Yeah, so, you know, in class one day I was just really bored, so the white polo tops.
Yeah.
And, like, I wrote stooge, like, in pen, like, just as a laugh. And I'm like, oh, yeah, stooge. And then I caught the train back to St. Albans. And then one of the Philo homies as well.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, is that your word? I'm like, word? What's a word? He was like, your tag. I'm like, no. He was like, oh. And then he chucked up his tag, whatever it was, like on the bus stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, that's mad. And then so I went home and I was like, oh, writing stooge, like just working on the hand styles and shit.
Shit.
And then from there I was just like, oh shit, I'm, I guess, a writer now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I was just on my own.
Yeah.
Like, cause they were part of like CRC. I was from like 4C. So same area, but like, you know, different crews or whatever. But yeah, so I started writing stooge around school, and I found out, I was like, oh yeah, I tag too. And I was like, oh shit, we all tag. And then so we just started, you know, from chalk markers from like Bunnings that you like take and refill them with like ink.
Yeah.
As we started there, and then yeah, we just eventually got to like using exports and that sort of thing.
Wow.
I was in a battle that I didn't know I was in a battle.
A graph battle.
Yeah.
Yo.
I was like, because it was at a party. Like at that time, house parties, I was like bring a can. Tin, mate. Fuck, that's what they call them now.
Yeah.
Tins. Yeah.
Tins. Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I had export in my bag all the time. And then one of the homies there, who I actually grew up with in the St. Albans flats, was like, yeah, right too. And I was like, I'll come out. I was like, okay, sick. And it was like, saw this like wooden fence in the area. I'm like, okay, you go there, I go here. Just do a throw up. So we both did it. And then after we were done, it was like, fuck, you just burnt the shit out of me. And they're like, what does that mean? It's like, you won the battle. I'm like, what? This was a battle? Like, I was just like throwing up and shit.
Yo.
And then so I guess that sort of like fed my interest in that, just getting that sort of props. And it was like, yeah. So ever since then, yeah, I was just like tagging around the area, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Really like solo at that time.
Yeah.
And then there was one time where St. Albans Yard was there.
Yeah.
And like not me knowing anyone in the scene, just as a lonely dude, I was like, you know what, I'm going to paint this thing.
Yo, no way, you fucking...
No, I didn't. Wait, I'll get there. So it was like, because I met some other dudes from the area, because they heard that, you know, I won this battle or whatever, so they're like, yo, you must be an all right painter. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then, so I was trying to tee up like a paint one day with one of these dudes from the area as well. And like I was telling him, yo, I'm going to paint St. Albans, bro.
Yo.
Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to paint it. I got my vault cutters and everything. Got my paint sorted.
Really?
And I was ready to go. But then he was like, bro, don't do it. That's CKA's yard. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
But they wouldn't know who I am. Because I'm just like a peewee, like a toy, basically.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like so close so many times to just like running in there by myself. And just doing it. And I was like, pretty much just getting up. And then, yeah, he told me not to do it. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, all right. And then so he linked me up with another homie that he used to write with as well. So he was my age because his cat was younger. So then, yeah, from there, he lived in the same area in Dalhay as well. And then we just go for missions.
That's crazy.
Every now and then. We were about like 16, 17, 18.
Yo.
And then he introduced me to this other cat, Marcos. Yeah, I tell the story to everyone. It was like, fuck, man. He was probably at like 15.
Yeah.
Or like 14 when we first met him. Like I was bombing this like Kings Park. Oh, yeah, Copperfield. I was just doing like a stomper by myself. Sick. And I told the homie come through. I was like, Robbie, like come meet me. Like we'll do like a stomper together.
Yeah.
And then like I was painting and stuff. And then he brings along these two kids. I'm like, fuck, this is going to be red hot. Like these little shits, like little grommets, like I don't want this shit.
Yeah.
And turns out it was Marcos, and it was like this little shit, this 14-year-old rocks up, like what the fuck.
Yo.
And so in my head, I was like, fuck you, I hate you. Like, straight up, like, I'm just like, you little shit, like, what are you doing here? You're going to blow up my spot, that sort of thing.
Full staunch, yeah? Like it was old school days.
Yeah, and like, I didn't have to be, but that's just how I felt naturally because, you know, like, who the fuck are you sort of thing. And yeah, ever since then, I guess we've just been kicking it.
Yeah.
And then we started the crew and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's really good times.
Holy
I never got that deep though, like, as deep as they did. Yeah.
Did you just kind of like start to grow, what's the word? Not grow apart, but like you kind of just moved on to other things eventually?
I guess not in that sense where it's like we did, you know, we painted trains and stuff. I guess they were more active because they had homies from like here or towards the city.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so they'd be more in touch with them because, like, I'd see them every now and then, not as often as they do, like, every single day pretty much.
Right.
Because I think, yeah, most of them dropped out of school. I think, yeah, we all pretty much just dropped out. But,
myself included.
Yeah, I think that's how it starts.
I'm a fucking bad influence.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying
That's
it's
how
my
it
fault.
starts, man. But it was just like, you know, it was a natural thing.
Yeah.
I think, you know, some people aren't cut. I mean, yeah, for that.
They're not for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, at that time, it was just very difficult, I guess, to accept that. But yeah, eventually we transitioned into starting a brand.
Crazy.
Which was Ruler, that sort of thing.
Right, so you were a part of the origins of Ruler as well.
Yeah. Wow. So it was like, yeah, from the shed back in Guinevere, like, it was one time, I think, yeah, we were just in the shed, kind of like smoke cones, that sort of thing. I was like, hey, we're going to do this thing, man. And then, yeah, it sort of happened.
What year was that, bro?
I'd say like 2010.
Yo.
Yeah.
Still old school. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like right before, I wouldn't say right before, or like at the peak, or when it, like streetwear was becoming like the sort of thing.
Yeah, like the OG hype beast.
Yeah, where shit was like, because before that,
Sneaker freaker and shit.
Yeah, like that's when it was like on the rise, and then you got like, you know, Provider, you know, stores like the Heist. There's all them stores.
Yeah.
Like back in the days where it was just like everything was there. I'm like, but yeah.
LRG, remember that?
I used to love LRG.
LRG.
That was my shit. Yeah. Yeah, LRG. What store had LRG? Was it the Heist? The one in
Where was Heist again? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember the exact street, but it was like near, I'm going to say Lonsdale or something. It was like a corner sort of thing. I don't remember the exact location. But
where Thing Lane was.
Yes, yeah.
What's
it's in a lane.
Yeah, St. Jerome's Lane.
Yes, and it's like
where the Macca's is now. That corner.
And you sort of
Swanson and Lonsdale. Was that where Heist was?
But it was like behind it or something. It was like in an alleyway.
In the alley. Yeah.
Yo,
that's old school stuff.
Yeah, so that was like a gem. But there was a lot of those gems around the city.
And also on Brunswick Street.
Yes, yeah.
They would sell like, this is like era when like Vans were being reissued again. Like a new Vans wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Do you remember the basement?
The basement.
It was like what Maya was, but like the streetwear.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
They had LRG there. That's why I used to get all my shit from. It was like,
right.
It was Myers. Myers? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Myers.
Yeah.
Before they changed it to what it is now. It was located there.
Yeah.
Like where Uniqlo is.
Yeah. Emporium? Is that
Emporium, yeah. So I remember, I go, fuck, I haven't been to Myers in years. I grew up going there with my family and shit.
Yeah.
And then, because St. Francis Church was across the road.
Yeah.
So if it was a special day to go to church, not just your local.
Yeah.
Like, we go to St. Francis.
Yeah.
With the fucking murky, fucking holy water.
Yeah.
Smell like fucking
Yeah.
iron, you know? It's black.
Sometimes the ciggy butts are there from like the junkies and stuff.
Yeah, fuck. So that's when you guys were doing ruler and that. And then, fuck, there's so many things I want to ask.
Yeah.
I want to bring up this point because I think it's important to discuss. Like, we're all solo cats these days, you know, not just you individually, like lone wolf styles, you know, not just me, but like, I think most people these days, just immediate circle, if not family, and then their phone, you know?
Yeah.
But unless it's like a group like yours, and, you know, they exist, others exist, but I don't see crews around anymore, man.
Yeah.
Was there a moment of that from, you know, where, and I'm jumping the gun a bit, but from ruler to where you guys are now?
Yeah, so definitely was. So during the ruler time, so I left probably about like 2 years after it all started to go to the Philippines.
Yo.
So I was, I guess, one of the first to sort of part from the crew.
Yo.
Like in that sort of sense. Because, yeah, it was a massive crew. It was huge.
Dope.
And, you know, I guess at that time we were all young, very creative, very passionate. And then I guess what held us together was just that whole bond of having such a eclectic bunch of people like in the one spot doing mad shit. But for me personally, like mentally, emotionally, I wasn't really stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just really wild, I guess, in that sense. Not crazy. Not like off the rails completely, but it was definitely a place that I didn't want to be at the time. So
Wow.
I had the opportunity to go to the Philippines and like switch up the whole lifestyle, do like missionary work, that sort of thing. And then I got back in 2017.
So how many years were you gone for?
About, is that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? Yeah, 5 years.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, and then when I got back, one of the homies took me to see Marcos and Age, so the two founding homies. And I'm like, oh shit, like it's good to like see the boys. And then they were just filling me in what happened like all those years or whatever. And eventually, people like sort of veered off into their own sort of niche, which is pretty sick to see, because like some of them, they're just like still doing the same thing but killing it, like on top of the game and stuff.
Wow.
Some people have gone corporate, you know. So that's sort of like, I guess, died off, but you know, we're still really good friends with each other and stuff. And then from there, from like 2017, funny that, because I think Ruler relaunched as Ruler Work. So it was like and when I got back, that's when it like just stopped in 2017.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, they had their last collection, I think, and like the whole last drop or whatever. And then that was like the last time. And I was like, oh shit, this is quite strange.
Yeah.
Like coming back into it and just like, oh shit, like there's, to find out, you know, nothing's, it's not going to continue from there, which was sad, but you know, I guess, I couldn't exactly say like why or how it happened, but you know, it is what it is, I guess, in that sort of sense.
Yeah.
But then, I ended up linking up with Marcos again in, I think, 2020, I don't know, sometime. And then we found out that he was still doing shit with Sammy, so one of the homies from Ruler as well. But he was from Gizzy.
Right.
And
his story from Gizzy.
Yeah, so
holy shit.
So his story was that he saw Ruler, I think, on Facebook or something, and he like full sent Marcos like, or Age like an email. It was like, hey, I want to come work for you, that sort of thing.
Right.
And so he came down, and then he's been down ever since. And then so those two have been like just they stuck together out of like the whole crew. And then eventually I came on board, and it's like fuck, it's like old times again. Yeah. And then we get like, you know, Ruby comes in like every now and then. Yeah. JT was just like, yeah. But it's like, you know, we're still in touch, I guess, with everyone else. But, you know, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, you're like filling in mad gaps in my timeline.
Yeah.
Because like I got back from Japan like August 2014. Then because some of the homies were already like dancing at Montanassa, you know, in Albion.
Yeah.
And then I met Marcos there.
Yeah.
You know, and then started seeing the ruler work stuff. But in all honesty, I don't think I ever saw the apparel. Or maybe one of the guys was wearing it.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen it at the store.
Yeah.
And also, I was still caught up in my shit that I wasn't really looking at, like trying to dig for like more local stuff and new shit. It's just whatever was coming in my feed.
Yeah.
You know? And it's crazy because even in 2017, when you said like, it's when things kind of quieted down, that's when it kind of halted,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2020 that things reconnected. I kind of feel like I've had a bit of a similar timeline. Like we haven't yet, you know, like our squad, you know, Fresh Socks and all that. And maybe because of something that happened back in 2017, you know, from my end, you know, mum was sick and all that. I kind of took a step back from everything. Is the reason why squad hasn't really got back together. It's like clearly never on just one individual.
Yeah.
But sometimes these important individuals can help bring people together, you know, like at their house or whatever. The question I'm bringing up with this is from 2017 to 2020, I guess because everyone was moving on and doing their thing from that point, was there a need for reuniting?
I don't think it was in the question at all. I don't think it was a question.
Yeah, right.
Because everyone was in their own sort of lane already. You know, one of the homies locked up.
Damn.
One moved to corporate, or a few moved to corporate. I think things just grew apart. But, you know, we've always been talking about it, like getting back together, just as like, you know, have a barbecue sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, there wasn't really anything about it until, Marcos invited me back into his studio just to, you know, sit in for a meeting or whatever. Because it was, I was with Dan and Will from Berg. So, like, come along. I was like, I know Marcos. Like, he's the homie.
Right.
And then, so from then, it was just like, oh, shit. Like, let's do something together. Let's work. Because they found out that I had just started doing video stuff. And then, I think it was just on from then, pretty much, Like, they brought me on, Marcus brought me on for a video, to make a video for a pitch to a client to bring that sort of thing to life. And that sort of like played out really well, and then everything just got back into line, I guess.
Yo.
But it's like 2.0 of what we're doing before, but you know, more experience, more wise, or like actually know what we're doing.
Yo.
My lesson of the week: peace is definitely a beautiful thing. It's the freedom from disturbance, freedom from war. It's tranquility, it's silence, and it's stillness. But stillness can also be detrimental to our growth. It's temporal. It's only natural until you feel the urge to move beyond our own comfort, beyond our own understanding, and into what makes us hurt, into what makes us grow and heal. And this is progression. Peace has to lead to progress. Puppy!
I see myself.